I'm bringing you this series, a couple times a week. I'm interviewing entrepreneurs all around the country that talk to us about their experience, tell us about their story, about their entrepreneurial life, and some things that they've experienced. Because my goal is to share and showcase these businesses and these amazing people with you, but also to share with you the entrepreneurial journey and how sometimes it's great and sometimes it's a struggle, and how these really passionate people are getting through these struggles, and so that we can all see avenues and paths and tools that we can use to continue our business as it goes along. So today I have the incredible opportunity to interview a lady I have known for, probably more than 20 years. And just so proud to know her in our community, and the things that she has done and does every day to help other entrepreneurs. So today I introduce to you Darlene Breck. Darlene, thank you so much for being with us today.
No, thank you, Connie, and thank you for those nice words.
Absolutely. You're a very integral part of the Southern Maryland community for sure.
Thank you.
So Darlene, tell us about you. Tell us who you are, how you got to where you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing what you're doing.
I say who I am. I was born and raised in Prince George's County. I came over to Charles County, and I had a moving and storage business a long time ago. From that, I had I had 50 employees, and when that company was sold, I always liked working with small businesses. That's something that I wanted to continue to do, because in the business that I was in, most of the businesses that you work with were mom and pop small businesses. So I really enjoyed that. So by buying a building in Waldorf and opening up the Southern Maryland Business Center, it gave me the opportunity to continue that. So where I thought that it was going to take possibly a year before it would get full, I wound up being full in less than, I think it was like 4 or 5 months.
Wow. Very good. So tell us, what is the Small Business Center? Tell everybody about that.
Okay, so Southern Maryland Business Center is kind of like what you see downtown a lot of times. Sometimes you see it in a Regis or something like that, but it's mostly like executive suites. Whereas somebody comes and rents an office space, but you have everything else that's already maintained and taken care of for you. So if you come and rent a space, you look like from the day that you open your door that you've already been in business for years, because you have a conference room, kitchens, small conference rooms, mail rooms, machines that you need, meaning copiers or fax machines or whatever else is needed. And that's all available to you right there. And the only thing you're paying for is your office. So it's based on like executive suites.
Nice, nice. And how long have you had the Small Business Center open? Or Southern Maryland Business Center, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, Southern Maryland Business Center has been open for 17 years. It's going on its 18th year. So, wow. And a lot of people here in the community, when you go back and you look, like I've done many ribbon cuttings and everything with all the businesses, it's like we all open around the same time. So it's like 17, 18, 20 years, something along that. It's funny how many other businesses are the same.
And how many businesses do you house in your center?
All right. The business center has 39 separate businesses. And that's because so we are located on all 3 floors. The second floor, I have suites. So those offices and those businesses have sometimes 10, 15 employees. Okay. And then, of course, they need a lot more space. Usually on the 3rd floor, that's where I house about 30 of them. And that's all individual offices. So sometimes they're larger, sometimes they're very large, or sometimes they're just 1-person occupancy. So it's a very, very diverse group, very, very diverse workforce and businesses, small businesses that are there.
Wow. Wow, very interesting. I honestly didn't even realize you had that many different businesses. So that's really interesting. So with all of those business dynamics, tell us a little bit about how you work. You obviously, the Southern Maryland Business Center is a business within itself, but you also have, you're working with these organizations. It's not like having a business where you have employees and you service customers. in that same traditional type of sense. So yours is more interaction with each of these different business owners. And so they're basically renting space, but you also, I know from experience with you, you also form, relationships with them as far as the business center that you have. So tell us a little bit about that and how that works a little bit different than a traditional business.
So my clients are my tenants. And as I always tell all of them, we're all small business here. So, sometimes I can walk into the kitchen to get a coffee along with somebody else that's standing there. We can invest 30 minutes or 20 minutes and come up with a new marketing plan for them. Something that we're sitting there discussing, just throwing ideas. So having a brainstorming session, you are never short of people. So being that I like to be involved with small business, it could be somebody just is working on a new marketing plan. Somebody is working on, hey, I have an idea for this. What do you think about that? And you may engage a couple other people. But normally when everyone is there, the doors are open. And when the doors are open, that means come talk, stand by. Because sometimes you can have 4 or 5 people in your office because everybody's addressing either a concern or something happening that they want to be involved in. Most of the time, because of my networking experience, which that's what gets you your community involvement. And that is what lets you go on. But that's a wonderful thing that I have to offer to all of my clients, and that are tenants. And that is if something's going on in the community, there's a good chance I hopefully know about it. And I can at least share it with you to say, hey, it'd be a really good idea if you came here, or a really good idea if you joined this group. Or I think this networking opportunity might be something that you would be interested in. And it's not uncommon for all of us to show up, meaning that maybe I'm coming, but maybe 3 or 4 tenants are also going to be attending. So that's always a plus.
Very interesting. So this concept of, we talk a lot in these interviews about businesses needing mentoring, coaching. When you run into a struggle, who do you call? How do you find out without, a lot of business owners feel like, oh, I'm going to be, considered weak if I'm asking for help, or if I, ask the wrong person for this favor, this question. But the unique thing in your environment is everybody's sort of doing that all the time with each other. You've got all these businesses that are in this think tank, basically, if you will, bouncing things off of each other. How powerful is that? That's really cool.
It is. It really is. And I have great tenants, and some tenants I've had for, I'm telling you, at least even 15 years. Wow. Some I've had leave, come back. Some have been a part of a larger organization, and this was just a satellite office. And when they've downsized, they've come back. So it's not uncommon to have somebody back 2 or 3 times. In fact, one of my tenants was one of my original tenants 17 years ago that came back just last year.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, obviously you're doing something right because people want to continue to work with you. So that's really powerful. I love this concept about networking because I think we haven't talked about this enough in this series, but the power of networking. We talked, I interviewed a lady about 2 weeks ago who's very active in BNI and as a director, and she talked to us a little bit about that. But other than that, it really hasn't come up that much. So talk to us about the power of networking and how it's helped your business.
Oh, well, networking, even being a part of a networking group. When I was opening my business, you had networking groups like CCBN. I think SMBN is still around. There's still a lot of networking groups that are out there, but also chamber networking, being a part of a club or an organization, that networking. And you just, bring it all the way around, because the more that you're involved with that or this, or the more you show up and you can put a face with a name, or who the county commissioners were long before they were appointed or elected into those positions. So you already had those relationships with them. One of the some of the friendships that I had started way back when my kids were little. And other women were just entering in because, when I owned the moving and storage business, there wasn't a lot of females that did that. Mm-hmm. And so your friendships were very unique and powerful. and to go past that, and all the kids are grown, and then you're running into these women again. So those are great friendships and relationships that are all part of a networking group. But the networking helps you get involved in your community, and anytime that you're involved in your community is a wonderful thing and great for your business also.
Yeah. So, I mean, networking, yes, it's helping you get more involved in your community, but it's also helping you build what I like to say that, the very common adage that people work with people that they know and that they trust. And so if you're networking with people, they get to know you as a human being and learn about your business at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so you can grow that relationship with people. And then once they learn about you and the relationship grows, then that's when people are more apt to work with you as well.
Absolutely. My greatest sales force are my current tenants. They're the ones, if there's an open office or if there's a space that's available, usually they have it leased before anybody else even knows about it.
Wow, that's great.
Because they're on the inside, they know what's happening, and then they want to bring whoever they know of that's looking for a space in.
Well, and it speaks a lot to you because they also respect and trust you and know you and know that what that relationship is like. So that referral is the best. And in networking overall, chamber events and other networking events, you're building that relationship with people because you're referring other people because you built a relationship with the people inside of that networking group. So. Yeah. Very powerful. So Darlene, talk to us a little bit about your other endeavor too, because this lady not only runs a business center with 39 tenants, which is a lot bigger than I thought it was, but she also is pretty active in her community in another whole way. So could you talk to us about that a minute?
You mean being elected official?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm serving my second term as being elected. I'm chief judge of the Orphans Court. That meets, we only meet on Tuesdays. We have hearings on Tuesdays. And of course, right now during this pandemic, our hearings are, closed to the public. But we have hearings on Tuesdays. That's always tugged at my heartstring. There's some great people in the community that served long before I did in those elected positions that I really admired. But it's also, the Orphans Court is a court that mostly people don't understand. They know it as more of a probate court. But Orphans Court is a court that takes care of families. It takes care of them at the worst times of their lives. And so I love serving on it. And the people that you meet in the Register of Wills office and the other judges that I serve with are wonderful. So that's something that I really have loved being a part of and continue work at it.
That is amazing. Talk about giving back to your community, being any type of public servant, whether your opinions or thoughts are popular or not popular, it is a true service. So I really appreciate you for that as well. Thank you very much for doing that. That's just a selfless act that really is very important and very necessary. And so many people have opinions about things, but they don't know what it takes to go through those efforts. So that's a big deal. And I really appreciate that you do that. But I wanted to share that on purpose because I want you guys to see that, when people decide to take on an entrepreneurial situation and they have these entrepreneurial spirits, most of them also have some sort of voluntary need to help something in their community in some fashion. And so this is a very common theme. Now, in that position, that isn't necessarily just voluntary, but it started as that. It started as something that is a passion that isn't part of your entrepreneurial side. It's something that because of your success, you have an opportunity to have the ability to share some things that you have, knowledge, gifts that you have in your community. And so I like to point that out, those kinds of things out, because I think it's really important for people to realize that business people aren't always just running their business and sitting on, on their yacht like Jerry Jones was last night in the draft. They're doing things in the world and in their community, which is really important to highlight.
Small business people wear so many hats.
It's
you know it.
Absolutely the truth. I mean, between the networking and the things that you volunteer on through that kind of thing and, specific ventures. So let's go back to your how you, obviously small business was your thing, and that's why you wanted to start the center. What happens? What do you feel like what is the thing that when you're dealing or helping a small business, or you get a new tenant or colleague, your network group, those people, what's the thing that just really makes you feel wonderful about your business career when you do something? You know, I like to say it makes the hair on your arm stand up, or your hair on fire, or just makes you go, oh God, this is why I love this job.
It's when new tenants come in. When new tenants come in and they don't know anyone, and to integrate them into everyone, because we're a lot. And but you know, for them to know that, oh, if I have an accounting question, I can go and ask the accountant right next door. Oh, if I have a childcare, maybe I can ask the ones that are providing some sort of tutoring service. If I have, you know, if I know a family member or somebody that needs healthcare, well, I have, you know, 9 therapists that I always have to say 9 therapists that are tenants, because I used to say, oh, my therapist, and he would say, oh, she's a therapist. And I'd say, oh, no. It's a tenant.
Not personally.
Not personally. Nothing wrong with that though, but
Right.
But you know, I have some great ones, and so I can just reach out and, you know, tell people about them too. So I just love when they become part of the business center, and you can see them going out to lunch with one, you know, another office, or just becoming part of it. I mean, that to me is a true success when they do that, because number one, they will probably stay. And because, you know, they feel like they belong. But number two, it's really helping them, because as we know, small businesses need all the help that they can get. And we don't have all those, we don't have all the answers to everything. And we are constantly needing some questions answered, or find out where we can go for help here or there. I think that's what's so great about some of the organizations that are out there, or that we're a part of, is that we can meet, talk, and then go out into the community and help. And that's truly what it's about anyway.
That's really cool. I mean, you have your own think tank of networking right there in your organization. And in these solopreneurs who, you know, what's one of the scariest things in the world? I have a great opportunity in front of me. I really want to start this, but I'm afraid I don't know what I'll do about accounting, or I don't know how to do QuickBooks, or I don't know where I'm going to rent a space, or I don't even know how to read a lease, or, you know, all of those things that have nothing to do with what I want to do as a business. And so how unique is that you offer unintentionally all of those services?
It is. But the funniest thing was, long at the beginning, I changed my lease to a month-to-month lease. It was, as a female, I had to make sure that for safety reasons, I didn't have to have anybody in, a female owning her own company. I made sure that I didn't have somebody in there that could be dangerous for anybody else, and then you can't get them out. So because of that, I changed my lease to month to month. But of course, all my tenants see it as a benefit to them. And so it's not so scary when you're just reaching out to launch your business for the first time, because sometimes it's from your couch, sometimes it's from a bedroom office, and you
don't we all know that right now?
Yes, and you need to start moving. I mean, you need to start meeting people, and when they come in, and I hand them a lease that only consists of, you know, a few pages, and then say, oh, well, and they're like, how long is the lease? And I'll say, oh, it's month to month, and they're like, really? I said, yes, you can sign this lease, you can start your business. If in 2 or 3 months or whatever it is, you find it doesn't work, you're fine. Go. You can come back anytime that you want to. So it just works out.
Yeah, that's wonderful. How unique. And, you know, I certainly hear what you're saying about the potential danger to anyone if somebody else is in there that's dangerous. But what a unique opportunity to start a business, because not only do you have the think tank of all of these people who are saying, hey, I'm not sure how to do this, such and such down the hall does, and they're networking and you know, just sort of being a board table for everyone, you know, every individual business, but then to have that flexibility to understand. I mean, because that's one of the scariest things when you walk into a business. I have to sign a 5-year lease and guarantee it. And, you know, when you're first starting, like you said, transitioning from your bedroom, your, you know, a room in your house, your basement, whatever it is, which we're all doing right now. But imagine being that business person that's been doing that. And then they say, gosh, I really need more. So I really need a professional space. So when people come to visit me, plus I need to get out of my house because maybe I'm having another child or whatever. Yeah, that's a great opportunity. And you obviously saw solve two different needs there. That's really wonderful. Mm-hmm. So what do you feel like if somebody said to you, like, what is your strong suit? What are you really good at that you can say, I know, people come to me because I am this, I do this?
I don't know. I think people come to me because I'm open. I'm open to, there's never a dumb question, and there's never, a conversation that I don't like to have. So, lots of people bring ideas to you that you had never thought of yourself. And just by coming with questions or, hey, do you know this person? Or, hey, have you ever worked with that one before? And sometimes you can also make things that appear scary, not scary, by saying, oh, they're great, they're wonderful, or no, that is a good company. I've worked with them before. So you take a lot of that edge off. I would say just being open to communicate and loving to be part of it.
Nice. Very, very good. Do you have in your center, are there rules about you can't have so many? Well, I guess not, because you have 9 therapists. So I was going to say rules about.
Oh, yeah. We are not a networking group, and I've said that before.
Yeah. Nice. Very good. Very good. So how do you explain what your business is when someone's never heard about it before?
Usually just like I did, which is it's based on Executive Suite's philosophy, which is you rent your space and everything else comes with it. I always tell people, Southern Maryland Business Center, we make office space affordable, because it is. You're just paying for that spot. Most people who set up a office or space for the first time can't afford conference room furniture, office equipment, full kitchen setup, or a lobby area for their customers to meet or sit and wait for them. This way, when they come in, they just have to rent the office that they're working out of, and everything else comes with it.
Gotcha. Do you have the receptionist service as well for somebody? So people call in, or do people just have their own offices with their own lines and that?
Yep, they have their own offices, their own lines, their own internet, all of that. When I started out 17 years ago, I had that. I had the phone service and everything. But that's one thing in Southern Maryland that Southern Maryland is just so different than a lot of other places. We're so unique. Right. Yeah. And one of the things that they did not want, nobody wanted you to answer the phone for them, and nobody wanted you to talk to their customer. They wanted to do that themselves. So after about 5 years of that lease, then I decided that no, that wouldn't even be offered anymore, and no one's wanted it.
Nice. Very good. I know, having known about those kinds of setups in other areas, the bigger, more corporate kind of setups, that was one of the things I had heard before. I wasn't real familiar. So I was just curious about that. So it sounds like your business model serves so many people in so many different areas. And one of the things I want to point out to people is, these kinds of concepts that Darlene is uniquely able to offer because of her business type is exactly the things that most startup or young in their business entrepreneurs deal with. You run into some of these roadblocks, like, you have to delegate certain things because you just don't know how to do some of these things, or you're just not very good at it. When in fact, this kind of setup could be a great start for someone when they say, oh gosh, okay, now I'm going to do my accounting, but I really just have a question that I need to ask somebody who knows how to use QuickBooks, or I have a legal question that I don't want to hire an attorney for, 5 hours to ask a 5-minute question. I can walk down the hall and some of the colleagues. So you offer a unique opportunity in so many different ways, and the energy that you have, that you like to help people and make sure that, people are successful, and the small business passion you have, you're clearly in the very unique spot that you need to be in your life. So, tell us if somebody wants to get in touch with you after today, how do they do that?
They can go on the website for somdbusinesscenter.com. They can call me, which you can find that number anywhere. But just reach out. Be happy.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Do you and if two last questions I want to ask you. Number one, do you have any unique things going on that you wanted to share? You have open office space that maybe you're looking to fill, some opportunities that are going on that you know about, that anything that you wanted to share with everybody?
One of the best questions I'm always asked is, "Do you have any space?" Because normally I'll say no, but I'm thinking this one might, or I'm thinking this one might. So yes,
Right.
I do have space, and
Okay.
yeah, and it's a small space. One of my largest tenants that's on the second floor, he has over 500 employees, and from a large kind of. Now he's been with me for like 14 years, and but his employees are in Texas. So, I mean, you talk about a diverse group. I mean, we are, and you never know who is in what office and what they're doing. But I think, yes, I mean, please give me a call if I can help. If you're looking for space, if you're looking to downsize, if you're looking to come out of your house, are you looking to, in this pandemic, I offer something unique, and that is just your small space. So walking into the business center, going in your office and closing the door means you're not around anyone else. So you certainly don't have anything to worry about as far as anybody else walking through.
Nice. That's very helpful and insightful for sure. And the last question I wanted to ask you today was, if you had to give a piece of advice to a brand new entrepreneur, solopreneur starting out, what would that be? What's the one piece of advice they need to know from a lady who's been in business successfully for over 18 years?
The best advice I ever got was from my first accountant that I ever had. And he says, Darlene, most small businesses break 45 of the IRS rules when they first open their doors. So don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. Just know you don't know everything. And asking the other person or next door neighbor or anything like that where your business is not a bad thing. And, some people know how to do whatever they do well, but they don't know how to run their office, or they don't know how to do the accountant, or they don't know. So just giving those things away to allow them to work their business and know what they know how to do is a brilliant thing. It's a very smart thing. It's not negative. And I think we beat ourselves up all the time thinking that we don't have all the answers or know it all, but none of us do. We're always reaching out. I'm always reaching out. So I think that's a good thing.
Very powerful words from a lady who's been in her own business for a long time. She still reaches out and asks questions as all of us who have been through all kinds of hurdles do. And particularly now, guys, when you're thinking about your business right now and the struggles that you're having, there's somebody else that knows how to answer whatever your struggle is. So don't be afraid to ask. I love the words that you said, that it's brilliant to ask for help. It's fantastic. Darlene, I thank you so very much for your time. There's been so many good nuggets here. And as I've said before, and I do with every interview we do, I will be saving this on my YouTube channel. You guys can subscribe there. I also will be sharing it on LinkedIn, and I'll share it back to YouTube as a replay. Back to Facebook as a replay in the next couple of days, so that Darlene can share it with all of her friends and family and colleagues. But if you guys have any questions, or somebody who wants to get on this interview series, I love talking to all the different diverse people, because everybody has their own take on similar concepts, and something might resonate with somebody. So if you know an entrepreneur out there who is doing it, whether they've been doing it for a year or they've been doing it for their whole life, I want to talk to them. So reach out to me, have them reach out to me. And again, you guys, this incredible lady is doing all of the pieces that you all should be thinking about. So Darlene, thank you so very much for your time today.
Well, thank you very much, Connie. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if you would do me one little favor, Darlene, is when we're done, type the website in the comments below. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, they can just click on it there, and they know how to get to you right quick.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there, guys. And I'll talk to you again next week. Bye-bye.
Happy Friday. Thank you.